12 Angry Men.
Is this? That's good. Okay. Good afternoon. As a jury deliberates the fate of a young man from the slums. What? Too loud? Okay. Good afternoon. As a jury deliberates the fate of a young man from the slums accused of murdering his father, they must confront not only their own prejudices, but also the possibility of a reasonable doubt. 12 Angry Men by Reginald Rose. All right, gentlemen, we... Alright. Okay. Alright, gentlemen, we have a first-degree murder charge here, so if we vote guilty, we send the accused to the electric chair. That's mandatory. I think we all know that, Mr. Foreman. Let's vote. Maybe we can all go home. Alright, Josie. Well then, just remember that this has to be 12-0 either way. Alright, all those voting guilty, please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, that's 11 voting guilty. All those voting not guilty? 1. Alright, that's 11 voting guilty, and 1 voting not guilty. Now we know where we are. Boy, oh boy, Mr. Foreman, there's always one. Kid, you really think he's innocent? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You sat in court and heard the same things we did. The boy's a dangerous killer. He knifed his own father 4 inches into the chest. They proved it a dozen different ways. Would you like me to list them for you? No, thank you. Well, then what do you want? Nothing, I just want to talk. I want to ask you something. Do you believe the boy's story? I don't know whether I believe it or not. Maybe I don't. Then what's your vote not guilty for? There were 11 votes for guilty. It's not so easy for me to raise my hand and send a boy off to die without at least talking about it first. I don't mind telling you this, mister. We don't know him a thing. He's a slum kid. He got a fair trial, didn't he? Look, we're all grown men here. You're not telling me we're supposed to believe this kid knowing who he is. I've lived among them all my life. You can't believe a word they say. I mean, they're born liars. If we're going to discuss this case, Josie, let's stick to the facts. All right, Mr. Foreman. Yeah, what about the woman across the street? If her testimony don't prove it, nothing does. Look, here's a woman who's lying in bed and can't sleep. She gets out of bed and looks out the window and across the street. She sees the boy stick the knife into his father. The time is 12:10 on the nose. Everything fits. Look, she's known the kid all his life. His window is opposite hers, and she swore she saw him do it. I want to ask you something. You don't believe the boy's story. How come you believe the woman's? She's one of them too, isn't she? You're a pretty smart fella, aren't you? All right, gentlemen, let's calm down. We're not going to get anywhere by fighting. All right. Then let's try to get to the point here. What about the switch knife? You know, the one that fine upright boy admitted to buying on the night of the murder. Let's talk about that. All right, let's talk about it. Good. Now, supposing we take these facts one at a time. 1. The boy admitted going out of the house at 6 o'clock on the night of the murder. 2. The boy went directly to a neighborhood junk shop where he bought a switchblade knife. 3. The storekeeper who sold it to him identified it and said it was the only one of its kind he'd ever had in stock. 4. The boy returned home at about 10 o'clock. Now, this is where the stories offered by the boy and the state begin to diverge slightly. He claims he stayed at home until about 11 o'clock and then went to one of those all-night movies. He returned home at about 3 a.m. in the morning to find his father dead and himself arrested. Now, what happened to the switch knife? The boy claims it fell through a hole in his pocket. Now, there's a tale, gentlemen. I think it's quite clear that the boy never went to the movies. Everyone connected with the case identified this knife. Now, are you really trying to tell me that somebody picked this knife up off of the street and stabbed the boy's father with it just to be amusing? No, I'm saying it's possible that the boy lost the knife and that somebody else stabbed his father with a similar knife. Take a look at this knife, will you? It's a very peculiar knife. I've never seen one like it. Aren't you trying to make us accept a pretty incredible coincidence? No, I'm just saying a coincidence is possible. And I'm saying it's not possible. Where did that come from? It's the same knife. Where did you get it? The knife comes from a pawn shop 3 blocks from the boy's neighborhood. It cost me $6. You pulled a real bloody trick. Now, supposing you tell me what it means. Maybe there are 10 knives like it. What does it prove? You telling me somebody else did the killing with exactly the same type of knife? The odds are 1,000,000 to 1. It's possible, but not very probable.